Hello students, welcome back to my channel. In this class, we are going to discuss about the fertilization and also double fertilization. Firstly, what is the fertilization? Fertilization is the fusion of male and female gametes. You know that male gametes are produced within the pollen grains and female gamete is produced within the embryo sac. So the fusion of male and female gametes is called as fertilization, and we will talk about the double fertilization later. And in seed plants, in almost all seed plants, the pollen tube, this pollen tube will carry the two male gametes towards the female gamete which is present within the embryo sac. That's why the phenomena is called as siphonogamy. In seed plants, it is called as siphonogamy. What is this siphonogamy? The male gametes are carried by the pollen tube towards the egg. Egg is the female gamete. The fusion of male and female gametes has to be taken place. So those male gametes will be brought by the pollen tube towards the female gamete, and this phenomenon is called as siphonogamy. And you are already familiar with the pollen pistil interaction. As you studied the pollen pistil interaction, you may be knowing that on the stigma, the different varieties of pollen grains may land or may fall on this stigma, but the stigma is always compatible. Only the compatible pollen grains can only germinate over the stigma. Not all the pollen grains can able to germinate on the stigma. If they are compatible, the stigma is allowed to the stigma will allow the pollen grains to germinate. So germination in the sense the pollen grains will produce the pollen tube. You know the structure of the pollen grain. The intine only develops as a pollen tube. Intine which will be developing as a pollen tube from any one of the germ pore, and whatever the contents which are present within the pollen grain, that will be transferred into the pollen tube, including the two male gametes. I told you how the two male gametes will be formed. There is a large vegetative cell and a small generative cell, and that generative cell only divides to form two male gametes. So all the contents which are in the pollen grain will be transferred into the pollen tube, and this pollen tube, by obtaining the nourishment from the stigma as well as style, it will be deeply penetrating in the stigma as well as style. You can observe here, these are the pollen grains which develops the pollen tube, which means they are compatible and germinating on the stigma and obtain nourishment from the interior part of the stigma as well as style, so that the pollen tube can deeply penetrate in the stigma and style. And it reaches the ovary also. In the ovary, within this ovary, this pollen tube will be nourished by a special type of tissue called as obturator. After the pollen tube, after reaching the ovary, it obtains nourishment from a special type of tissue called as obturator. Then this pollen tube reaches the ovule. You know that within the ovary, which contains many number of ovules, and within the ovule there is a female gametophyte called as embryo sac. Now the male gametophyte, there is a pollen grain, produces the pollen tube. That pollen tube enters deeply in the stigma, style, reaches ovary, and finally reaches the ovule. That is what I am saying. But the entry of pollen tube into this ovule is mainly of three methods. There are three methods or ways how the pollen tube can enter into the ovule. Then which are the three methods? The first one is called as a porogamy. Porogamy. So what is this porogamy? The entry of pollen tube towards or through the micropylar region. You know that the micropyle is the small opening where the integuments are not covered the ovule, and the exact opposite region is called as chalaza. So this is the micropylar region, and the exact opposite end is called as a chalaza, and the ovule is enclosed by or covered by one or two productive coverings called as integuments. So this information here it is required, so that's why I am saying porogamy is nothing but the entry of a pollen tube into the ovule through micropylar region. Through micro and the third type is called as mesogamy. Sometimes the pollen tube can enter the ovule through the integuments also, that is called as mesogamy. There are three possibilities the pollen tube can enter the ovule. The first one is called as porogamy. If the pollen tube enters the ovule through micropyle, it is called as porogamy. If the pollen tube enters the ovule through chalaza, it is called as chalasogamy. Or if it enters the ovule through integuments, it is called as mesogamy. But the most common type is called porogamy. That means the entry of pollen tube into the ovule through micropyle end. So once it reaches the ovule, this pollen tube is attracted by the synergids. You know the structure of embryos are. So this is towards the micropylar end and this is towards the chalazal end. So in the micropylar region, there are three cells. Together it is called as egg apparatus, and this egg apparatus contains one egg cell and two pear-shaped synergids, and within the synergids there are finger-like projections called as filiform apparatus. So these are the three cells which are towards the micropylar region. So once the pollen tube enters which reaches the ovule, this pollen tube can enter the embryo sac by entering into any one of the synergid, because the synergids will attract the pollen tube with the help of these filiform apparatus. Usually in case of these flowering plants, the pollen tube will enter any one of the synergid and burst open the pollen tube. The tip of the pollen tube will burst open to release the contents into the synergid. For example, you just imagine now this pollen tube enters this synergid, it bursts open and releases all the contents including these two male gametes. Now the two male gametes which are in the synergid. Try to understand. The pollen tube enters the ovule through micropylar region, that is called as a porogamy. After that, the pollen tube reaches the embryo sac or enters the embryo sac through any one of the synergid, because the filiform apparatus will guide the pollen tube. Then this pollen tube enters into the synergid, bursts open and releases all the contents in the cytoplasm of the synergid. And you know that there are two male gametes. Out of the two male gametes, one male gamete. So the first male gamete, this male gamete moves towards the egg cell. You know, egg is the female gamete. So the male gamete, one of the male gamete, moves towards the egg cell and fuses with the egg. So now what happened? The male gamete fuses with the female gamete. This is called fertilization. And here, this fertilization can also be called as syngamy. It is very important. What is syngamy? Syn nothing but fusion. Gamy means gametes. Then which are the gametes? Male and female gametes. The fusion of male and female gametes is called syngamy, or also called as fertilization. Try to understand. One of the male gamete fuses with the egg. Later, the fusion after fertilization, it develops into zygote. So we can define fertilization in a better manner. So the fertilization is nothing but the fusion of haploid male and haploid female gametes resulting in the formation of diploid zygote. You know why it is diploid? Because one haploid male gamete fuses with one haploid female gamete, so resulting in the formation of diploid zygote. Later, this zygote develops into embryo that we will study later. I will repeat a few points. One of the male gamete fuses with the egg, resulting in the formation of diploid zygote. This process is called as a fertilization. Can also be called as syngamy. Then one more male gamete. The other male gamete moves towards the center. So what the male gamete present here? Now it moves towards the center. It is the central cell. The entire thing is considered as a central cell which contains two polar nuclei. The other male gamete moves towards the polar nuclei which are present in the central cell and fuses with them. This male gamete fuses with the two polar nuclei and resulting in the formation of a triploid structure called as primary endosperm nucleus. All these events are very important. Endosperm nucleus. So this can be called as a PEN. Why it is a triploid? I have written it 3N. 3N refers to triploid. So one haploid male gamete fuses with two haploid polar nuclei, resulting in the formation of a triploid structure. One male gamete, two polar nuclei. So one N, here there are two N, resulting in the formation of 3N. There is a triploid structure which can be called as a primary endosperm nucleus or PEN. Try to understand. One gamete fuses with the egg, resulting in the formation of zygote. That process is called as syngamy. The other male gamete fuses with the two polar nuclei, resulting in the formation of a triploid primary endosperm nucleus. As it involves the fusion of three nuclei. It involves the fusion of three nuclei, that is a two polar nuclei plus one male gamete. This process is called as triple fusion. This is very important. Why it is called as a triple fusion? There are three nuclei will be fusing. Which are the two nuclei? Two polar nuclei and one male gamete will be fusing. That's why it is called as triple fusion. And these two processes, syngamy and triple fusion, these are the two types of fertilization taking place within the embryo sac. That's why the phenomena is called as a double fertilization. You may be thinking why it is called as a double fertilization. There are two types of fertilizations will be taking place within the embryo sac. That's why it is called as a double fertilization. Which are the two types of fertilization? One, male gamete fuses with the egg, results in the formation of diploid zygote, that is called syngamy, and other male gamete fuses with the two polar nuclei, results in the formation of a triploid primary endosperm nucleus, that is called triple fusion. These two processes together it is called as a double fertilization. And this double fertilization, it is one of the important unique characteristics of all angiosperms. So all flowering plants, they have a unique feature called as a double fertilization. Then after the triple fusion, what happens to this primary endosperm nucleus? So the central cell, the entire thing is called central cell. This central cell becomes a primary endosperm cell. The entire central cell becomes a primary endosperm cell which contains a primary endosperm nucleus. Later, it develops into a nutritive tissue called as endosperm. The primary endosperm nucleus later develops into a nutritive tissue called as endosperm. Then why it is called as a nutritive tissue? Because this endosperm will provide nourishment to the developing embryo. Because already I told you, this zygote later develops into embryo and this embryo obtains nourishment from the endosperm. You just imagine, so here there is a zygote and that zygote later develops into embryo and the entire thing develops into endosperm. This embryo will obtain nourishment from this endosperm. So this is the double fertilization that takes place in case of angiosperms. The definition is very important. You cannot simply write as a syngamy and triple fusion together called as double fertilization. You need to clearly explain what is syngamy and what is a triple fusion. Then you should define double fertilization. So the complete definition for double fertilization. One male gamete fuses with the egg, resulting in the formation of diploid zygote. That process is called syngamy. Other male gamete fuses with the two polar nuclei, resulting in the formation of triploid primary endosperm nucleus. And this process is called triple fusion. Together, syngamy and triple fusion is called as a double fertilization. So that completes a double fertilization. Then what happens after the fertilization? So whatever the events that takes place after fertilization, they are called as post fertilization fertilization events. First, fertilization events. You already studied the free fertilization structures and events, that is microsporogenesis, megasporogenesis, megagametogenesis, everything you have studied. And we have discussed the fertilization events also, how the fertilization will be taking place and how double fertilization taking place, everything we have studied. Now we will discuss the first fertilization events. So what happens after fertilization? After the syngamy and triple fusion, what changes we can observe in a flower? Usually after fertilization or soon after the fertilization, the flowers will be faded. The flowers will be fading, which means in a flower, whatever the sepals, petals, stamens will be there, they start to fall off or wither off. The very important thing, firstly, the sepals, petals, stamens will fall off or wither off. And next, these antipodals and synergids, they start to disappear. After the fertilization, the antipodals and synergids, they start to disappear. Then this zygote, after the syngamy, it is zygote. So this zygote later develops into embryo. And this primary endosperm nucleus develops into endosperm. What is the role of endosperm? Which is the nutritive tissue, provides nourishment for the developing embryo. And next, this entire ovule, the entire ovule develops into seed, and this entire ovary develops into fruit. And this ovary, the ovary wall becomes the fruit wall, can also be called as a pericarp. So ovarian wall develops into fruit wall, and that fruit wall is called as pericarp. The first fertilization events are very, very important for your examination. Definitely you can expect a question about the first fertilization events. I repeat. So after fertilization, the sepals, petals and stamens will fall off. The antipodals and synergids will disappear. The zygote develops into embryo, and a primary endosperm nucleus develops into endosperm, which is the nutritive tissue for the developing embryo. And the ovule develops into seed, ovary develops into fruit, the ovarian wall develops into fruit wall, that the fruit wall is called as a pericarp. So these are the first fertilization events. And in this class, we studied about the fertilization and also double fertilization. Double fertilization is also one of the important questions that can be expected in your examination, later followed by the first fertilization events. Later in the next class, we will be studying about the endosperm as well as embryo.